As I'm sure most of us are aware, Ash Wednesday just happens to be Valentine's Day this year. And I've already had people, parents and others asking me, what are we supposed to do with that? How does that work? Well, there's no official direction the church gives that I'm aware of how is that adjusted. Some parents have acknowledged that I think it's younger than 14. Children are not obligated for some of the fasting and abstinence that is part of a day like Ash Wednesday. But I guess the general theme that I would encourage is not to feel constricted one way or the other. I mean, each parent, each individual, we all need to look at the situation ourselves. I guess the general encouragement I would give for Ash Wednesday is sort of a culture clash, very much. Totally opposite directions in some ways. But I think we can also look at it and say, maybe not so totally opposite if we really go a little deeper into what St. Valentine's Day is about and what Ash Wednesday is about. But I guess the general encouragement or advice that I would give is to look at how we embrace the spiritual understanding of Ash Wednesday, but also acknowledge that it is on Valentine's Day. And how to do that, I think we can all find our own ways, but to not necessarily say one extreme or the other, to say, oh well, we're just going to ignore Valentine's Day because it's Ash Wednesday. Or we're going to say, well, Ash Wednesday happens to fall on Valentine's Day this year. And Valentine's Day is such an important celebration for me or for my spouse or for the family, we're just going to kind of ignore Ash Wednesday. As we know, Ash Wednesday is not a holy day of obligation, but it is one of the best attended, at least in my work as a priest, and I think most priests that I've talked to would agree. People come to Ash Wednesday, even people who may have an issue with the church, who may not even be Catholic. But Ash Wednesday really speaks to people. And so I think there's a value there that I would, if you were on that extreme of saying, oh, it's Valentine's Day, we're just going to celebrate that, we can catch another Ash Wednesday next year, I would encourage not doing that. And also, really, I would encourage that you don't say, well, let's totally ignore Valentine's Day. And just focus on being very penitential for Ash Wednesday. To find a balance there, and I think it's going to be different for everyone. To me, this brings up something that I think we lose sight of sometimes, at least in my experience and talking to people and in being in various places around the country. I think we can lose sight of the question of, is this a prudential judgment or is it something clearly truth that we are called to live? And really, the only judgment is, how do I live this truth as fully as I can? What we're talking about with Ash Wednesday and Valentine's Day and how we navigate that, it's all a prudential judgment. It's not like, oh, this family's doing this. Oh, that's terrible. How can they do that? Or another family does something very different. Certainly, we may disagree with one individual or one family's approach to how you embrace this reality that these two very different celebrations of our culture and of our faith. Remember, it's St. Valentine's Day. A lot of times the saint gets left off, but that's one angle to take, maybe. Maybe a family's approach is to say, let's learn a bit more about St. Valentine. I can't claim to be an expert on the story of St. Valentine, but from what I do remember, it is a story of love and of Christian love and what love really is about for us as those who are disciples of Jesus Christ. So maybe that's one approach to, okay, it's Ash Wednesday, but it's Valentine's Day. To, to enter into the abstinence and the fasting in some way, but maybe also to make that extra effort. And very often we talk about during Lent, not just to give up things, but also to do more works of charity, or to go out in service in different ways, to do things as well as as abstaining from things or fasting from things. Both can help nurture our heart to grow closer to Christ, and that's ultimately what it's all about. So one model might be to say, okay, we're going to pretty much observe Ash Wednesday and go to Mass and receive ashes and remember that it's a penitential day to begin Lent, but to, in addition, maybe give a little nod to St. Valentine and learning more about that story in the church and in culture. St. Valentine's Day has certainly captured the culture, and we can say, well, it's just commercialized, which it is. But also, there's something there that speaks to people, even people who don't have faith. And for us who believe and know the faith is the heart of who we are, to remember St. Valentine on St. Valentine's Day, even if it is Ash Wednesday, may be a good way to approach this kind of juxtaposition of different images and different ideas. Maybe you give some chocolates on Valentine's Day, but say you got to wait till the end of Lent to eat them, or whatever you want to do. But to look at both and not dismiss either, but to, especially for families, look for creative ways to help your children grow in their faith through the circumstance of this year in the calendar of Valentine's Day and Ash Wednesday being the same day. God bless you.